Okay, so this is Clayton Dewey. I'm one of the maintainers of the MaxLength module, and I'm here with Allie Thorpe. And so Allie, I learned that Drupal has actually done some usability research for the entire project, and they have some personas, which is pretty cool. And so those personas are so based on like level of familiarity with the Drupal project. And this is sort of a distribution of the community. The vast majority of people are newcomers.
Yep.
A lot of people, but a few less are learners. Then we have a few people who are skilled, a handful of people who are kind of in the expert category, and then an even smaller amount of people who are masters. And the way that we kind of differentiate between these, sort of going to read the descriptions of each, and I'm curious where you would put yourself amongst these. So newcomer is someone that's heard about Drupal but has a limited understanding of the software and the ecosystem / community around it. Never built or worked on a Drupal website, but they've heard of the project. A learner has a general understanding of what Drupal is and has applied that understanding. So it maybe built some things or administered something. Yeah.
I think I put myself between learner and skilled.
Cool.
Probably closer to learner than skilled.
Yeah.
I haven't built. I tried to build a Drupal site once, and it didn't go well. But I'm not a developer. I'm a project manager, so it's easier for me to find people who can fix it than to spend the time trying to figure it out and learn it from scratch. So I think I put myself in the learner category based on this description.
Awesome. And that's great because so the central focus of upcoming Drupal.org improvements and Drupal in general is the transition from learner to skilled. It's like, perfect. So you're like the key audience group here.
Excellent.
So we have some task scenarios based on that. So it'd be good to like run through the learner and then maybe a few of the skilled tasks if we have time. So the first is to find, the first is just even finding the module based on the needs. Like, let's imagine you have a site you're working on, or maybe you're just consulting on it, and you don't know if there's a module out there that can add a soft or a hard character limit, but you want to find one. And of course, this one's the most contrived of the task scenarios because you already know the MaxLength module exists. But I'm curious, how would you go about finding that? Like, and I know you do this in your work, like you search for modules and see. So it'd be great if you could share your screen and kind of pretend like you don't know it exists. Like what would you do to try and find a module like that?
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So I do a search for Drupal character limit module and see what comes up.
Cool.
And it looks like MaxLength is the first one, and then character limit is the second. So I'd probably pick the top result that has a description that matches what I was looking for. So
nice.
Then I would click the link and read more about the MaxLength module.
Cool. Yeah, and I guess, do you want to just like give this page a read and sort of share your thinking out loud of if this is, how well this is matching your expectations, or what you have questions on?
Yeah. What's a token? That's a question. I like not being that familiar with the development side of installing and configuring modules. I wouldn't know what a token is or why it would need to be configurable.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like while we're on that, I wonder what would be a better word, or if it's just better to just kind of explain it in the sentence. So it's like, in this case, it's like MaxLength gives us a couple of sort of variable numbers to work with. Like you can set the limit to whatever you want. So in this example, it's 140 characters. So that little text in that help text, the content limited to, 140 characters, that would change to 200 if it was set to 200.
That's what the token is.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's
Okay.
like a more that's like a very Drupal-y word. I wonder if is there other words that come to mind for that?
Not really. Are there other things that are configurable besides the character limit and the character count?
Kind of, yeah. But maybe we don't even need to get into the token part at this level, right? Of like,
Yeah.
just leave it as configurable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean,
Cool.
you could say several options, I suppose.
Okay.
Um,
Sweet. I'll let you keep going.
Yeah. Only available in fields using CK editor. Okay, so this max length module, the way this reads is that max length is configurable and usable based on any number of editors, of WYSIWYG editors. Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah, and just text fields that don't have a WYSIWYG editor at all. If it's just
That's
a
great.
text field,
Yeah.
the title. Yeah.
Awesome. The downloads seem to make sense. Yellow I would consider like a warning, and green I would consider good to go. That's that. Now I'm at the end of the page, so I think that's it. I think that's all my feedback based on that.
Awesome. So now we can go to the next task scenario, which share my screen again. So installing and enabling the MaxLength module. So I'm going to cheat here, and I have a demo site that's already got it installed, but we can go through the enabling it and configuring it step. So
sure.
I'll stop sharing my screen, and I will share credentials with you. 1 second.
Where's the link to the demo site?
The link is going to be.
Oh, got it. Okay. Do you want me to share my screen while I log in, or just get logged in?
Yeah.
All right. Desktop 2. Okay. What am I doing now?
Okay,
Finding
so we've got it. So we got this demo site set up. It's like a vanilla Drupal site with a couple of the go-to modules and some extra content types built out that we use at Dev Collaborative. And so the module is here, but it hasn't been enabled. It hasn't been turned on yet. It hasn't been enabled. So, yeah, how would
I find it?
Yeah.
I would start with structure
and
see if it's in here. I don't think it is. So then I would go to configuration.
Yeah, and I guess this is testing the Drupal itself. So I can give you a little bit more instruction for that.
Extend.
So it's under extend.
Okay.
And so you should be able to find the module from here.
So now I check this and I hit install.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Now I'm going to go to
There it is.
permissions. Let's see. I just checked off the people that I want to be able to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So
Your user and editor.
yeah, and I guess if you want to read that permission out loud and let me know if it makes sense or if it's a better wording there.
It says bypass max length setting. If a max length is configured for a certain field, the user does not see the value. Oh, interesting. So that sounds to me like the user does not see the value. So that's the end user.
Yeah, or like the editor, like whoever is sort of typing text into the field. So in this case, it's like if we set a limit of 120 characters, if you have the permission to bypass the max length setting, then you wouldn't be limited to that. You wouldn't even see it actually.
You just wouldn't be able to see it, or you would be able to override it.
Yeah, you'd be able to override it too.
I might want to see that information in here.
Yeah.
Unless it's somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Noted. So yeah, so the next task, which is not intuitive, that's why we're testing it to get some ideas, is just yeah, so let's say, for example, I think we have an article content type on this site, do we? Oh, just
basic
kidding.
Page.
Yeah, basic page. So let's say like for the basic page, we wanted to set a max length on the body field.
Okay.
Yeah, how would you go about doing that?
So I would be totally guessing.
Mm-hmm.
I would start with structure and go to content types. And then I would try manage form display under basic page.
Okay.
And see, yeah, it looks like that might be here. That's got 100 next to it. So I'm hoping that that might be here. So I'm going to hit the little cog. Oh, that's just the height of the field. Oh, here it is. This is what I could change, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you found it. Okay, well, yes. That went faster than other people. Cool.
But where would I go to actually set the limit? Is it right here? I put right here, like, do I replace at limit with?
No, it's actually the field right above it that says.
Oh, that says max length on it. Look at that. Okay, I skipped right ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Although it's good to know, like in your case, like you're looking for the word limit, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. That might be a better label there. Max length limit.
Yeah, if it like character limit, I think is what was in my head. So any combination of character and limit, character count, max characters, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think would be more intuitive for someone like me.
Cool.
So do you want me to set a length here?
Yeah. Why don't we set a length here? And
okay.
Yep. And why don't we set one on the body field too?
Okay. Cog. Max length, I'll set as 1,000. I'm reading the help text here. So if I get for instance, if I wrote 1,001 characters, the truncate would stop it from putting in that 1,001 character and stop it at 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would want to enable that. I think that would be really useful for the kind of people that I have who edit websites.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hold them to it.
That's right. That's right. Use this option if the input field may contain HTML and you want to exclude the HTML characters from the character count. This will also override the max length validation from core. It's a little stripped of tags, but I don't understand what this means.
Yeah.
So I would leave that one alone. I wouldn't touch it.
Cool.
Is that so? Should I hit update now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other fields that we want to? How about the teaser?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, that's not the right one. So I'm gonna hit cancel and go back up. We'll go to the teaser text area. And let's see if a teaser is for displaying on other pages or giving a little intro, maybe 250. And again, force truncate. And I would hit OK. Now do I press save?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sweet.
Can I go check out my work?
Yeah. Yeah, let's
right.
see. See what happened.
Content, add content, basic page, title limit. Here's that's interesting. A space takes up some strange number of characters. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
And so do characters that aren't letters take up, they make the numbers jump around a bit.
Good catch. You found one of the bugs that we're trying to resolve before we can call it a stable release.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Teaser info. I'm going to go to Flipsum and I want to try to grab a couple hundred characters. So I'm going to paste that in here. Whoops. I just broke it.
You're finding all the bugs. Yep, that's another one.
I just refresh the page. It's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try again. All right, let me paste this into a plain text doc. All right, now I'm going to paste that in. Okay, so that's it says it's 418 characters remaining. Okay, for the teaser, I'm going to chop it up by sentence because I have a feeling what's breaking is that I'm over 250 characters. So
Yeah.
I'm going to type that. Yeah, that's not.
There it is.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it happen right when you get to 0?
Yeah, that's when things start getting wacky.
This is fun. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, you can't do anything, huh? Just breaks it. Oh yeah, that would make me a little batty.
Yeah.
Okay. Refresh.
Yeah, try it on the title field. I wonder if you paste a bunch of text in there. I don't
Let's try it.
think that the same problem is happening
200
on
characters, so.
titles and plain text, but it would be good to double check.
Yeah, nothing happens if I try to type it in.
Yeah.
But if I use a sentence that's longer than that many characters, let's see. Nope, it just cuts it off.
Yeah, which is what you would expect. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so
So if
getting
I,
it to behave the same way for the WYSIWYG.
all right. This, I'm having fun.
Yeah. The good
Yeah,
news
so
is that there is a patch waiting in the wings to fix that for the next release
that's
of this
great.
module. Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing is that so you're an admin user on this, and when we were at that permissions page, the module gives us that bypass max length setting to the admin role. But as you can see, you aren't able to bypass the max length setting, even though you have the permission to, which is another important bug. But in a weird way, that bug is actually helping, I think, in a lot of cases, because if you had gone to test this out, you wouldn't have seen the max length setting. And so one question we have is, what is the best way to handle that? Because it's thrown people off in the past. And so, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any suggestions on how to handle that?
How to handle the bypass?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think in a perfect world, I'd be able to paste as much text as I want and it would turn a different color or get underlined or italicized, like some sort of visual representation.
Yeah.
Um,
And then when
that's
you
not,
go to save it, then it shows you an error of like you've entered more
yeah,
text
you have too many characters.
you're
Yeah.
allowed to, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if that's so accessible friendly, but but I think, I mean, like that would be my initial thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have it's kind of like that. If you go back to that manage form display page and the settings for the max length module, that was it was under structure when
Right.
you
Structure.
yeah.
Right. Okay, that one. Manage form display.
And
Okay.
so if you do that for any of them really.
I'm just gonna change it on this one on the teaser.
So if you if you change that force truncate to off, and then so here's the other thing. So that save truncate HTML with the very dense help text that didn't really make sense. So what that does is it the reason that the character count was counting like 3 characters for when you were hitting spaces and for smiley faces and stuff was it was counting the HTML tag characters as well.
Why would it do that?
That's what I was hoping you would say. So I don't I think it should just not count that ever. I don't know why we would have to turn on a radio button to do that. So
Yeah, I don't.
I can't think of a scenario where you would want to count the HTML tags as characters, you know.
Yeah.
So that also throws people off. And it's written in a very dense way. So like
Yeah.
site builder audience is like, what's happening here? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. But for the purpose of this, why don't we turn the safe truncate HTML option on just so we have a more accurate character count. And then you can click the update button and save this. And you can see how the form works when you do not set a hard limit.
Let me get a whole sentence. Okay, so I've got a 200 character title.
Oh yeah, but I think we just set the soft limit on the body field. So, or maybe it's teaser text. Oh,
There we go. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I like that it's red
Mhm.
and bold. That there's clearly a minus in front of it. I've overdone it.
Yeah.
And it tells me exactly how many characters to remove.
Yeah. Is it, if you were an editor, do you think that that's noticeable enough to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Mhm.
Is it possible to also have help text by the title or the label of the field that says content limited to X characters?
With some other modules, it could. Otherwise, by default, Drupal's help text shows up below the field. So it would just be more text under that max length provided text, the content limited.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be redundant.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good that it was noticeable.
Yeah.
So if there was a hard limit on there, just so I'm understanding right, you would want that you would want to be able to still type past the limit here, but then an error message is shown when you try and save the page.
I would like some sort of indication that the character limit has been breached.
Yeah.
You know, so if the best thing to do is, like, in terms of best practices, is to have this this down here, remaining negative 577 characters. That works for me. That would give me all the information I need as an editor, as somebody who's entering content.
Yeah.
Because especially if I'm typing, but I think I would want to rephrase that forced truncation language to indicate that that copy and paste complicates things.
Yeah. I mean, ideally we just fix that issue.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. But
Easier
in the
said than done,
meantime,
am I right?
we might want to have
Yeah.
something on the project page or in the documentation that's like, this is a known issue. So I guess I have two more questions for our testing session.
Okay.
If
Where do we
we
start?
if you hop back to that manage form display that's under structure, I just wanted to, and yeah, the body field, I guess we can do this for if you want to go into there. So okay, so I just wanted to get feedback on this form in general. So that max length, maybe saying like max length limit or character limit, something like that would be good.
Yep.
The countdown message label, is that what you would expect, or do you think
Yeah.
there's okay. And then force truncate, is that language helpful, or is there a better way of phrasing that?
I would change it to copy. I would change HTML or the text to copy, because if
Yeah.
chances are people who are writing in a body field know that they're going to be calling it copy, or they've heard that language before. But referring to HTML and text here, I think could be a little more confusing for people who aren't at the site builder level.
Yep. Great. And what about like force truncate?
That's a tough one. I mean, I could see how force character limit might make more sense, but this might also just be semantics at this point. I think it depends more on the audience that you're trying to reach ultimately with this with this interface. I mean, like, I know what truncate means.
Yeah.
And I understand that if something is truncated, that means that that I'm not going to be able to do anything else in the field after I get to whatever my character limit is.
Yeah.
And that way, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. I guess if we do end up changing the behavior so that instead of what it's currently doing, where it just prevents you from typing anything once you hit that limit, to instead allowing the user to type beyond it, but it gives that red countdown and then prevents you from saving the form, then we probably should change that label to something else, because you're not actually truncating at that point. You're like, I was thinking like hard limit or soft limit, like a radio button like that. I don't know, is that?
Yeah, I would definitely have understood that better.
Okay. Yeah.
And force truncate and save truncate.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
So, I mean, in that case, you could say enable hard limit or enable soft limit. And then you could keep your text mostly the same there.
Yeah. Okay. And then so this bypass max length permission thing is kind of weird. I wanted to just circle back to that. So there's a few options that we've kicked around, so I'm kind of curious what you think might be the best. So one is to keep it as it is, but just not automatically assign it to the admin role. That way, like, you have to like explicitly set it so that you know that you have that permission. So that when you turn on the MaxLength module and you test it out and you don't see it, then you know why. Another option would be to change it so that you still see the max length, that text of like content limited to blah, blah, blah. But if you go past it, that it allows you to save the page because you have that bypass max length limit. And I think the third thing is when you enabled the module initially, there was that system message in green that's like, you enabled the max length module.
Yeah, it was up here.
Yeah. And just saying something about that, of like, note that, I don't know, administrators have the max length sets, bypass max length setting or whatever.
So I think my initial thought is the second approach was probably the one that makes the most sense for less advanced users. I'd want to rephrase some of this a little bit, and I think that's part of what you just outlined.
Yeah.
Bypass max length. I think bypass max length setting is fine. It's this sentence underneath. If a field has a character limit, the user is not, this user is not limited by it. Something like that.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Cool. Let's see. I think that, yeah, that covers it. What, yeah, any other feedback in general on it?
I don't think so. Where do you set the actual permissions, or did I already do it? Are the permissions just on, is this module just attached to all the text fields on the site? And I can set it or not set it for any text field as soon as the module is enabled.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by default, it's no character limits are set.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
cool. Yeah, that
Sweet.
works for me.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks for testing things out.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me to play. I look
No
forward to doing
problem.
more of
Anytime.
this.
All right. Take care.
Did you record it?
I
Oh, you are
did.
recording it. Okay.
No, I'll stop the recording.